3 sedans. None of them cost more than 10 grand right now. And every single one of them will still be running when the guy who bought new in 2024 is on his second payment for a transmission rebuild. I'm not talking about luck. I'm not talking about babying them. I'm talking about engineering that was overbuilt for the price, and a used car market that's so obsessed with SUVs that these things are practically being given away. 20 years turning wrenches tells you which cars keep coming back, and which ones I never see again because they're still running fine. And the car at number 1 on this list? I had one owner, a serious guy, done his research, tell me I was wrong about it. Said he'd read 3 different forums. I told him what to look for. He bought it anyway and called me 8 months later just to say he'd put 22,000 miles on it without touching anything except oil. That's the car we're ending on. Stick around. Car number 3, Buick Lacrosse, 2017 to 2019. This car retailed for $34,000 brand new. You can find a 2018 with 50,000 miles on it right now for under $14,000. Let that land for a second. I had a 2018 Lacrosse in the shop last spring. The owner brought it in for a routine oil change. That was it. Guy had 81,000 miles on the thing. I put it on the lift, went through the whole car. Brakes were at 60%. Tires had even worn. The suspension was tight. The only thing I could tell him was, "You're doing everything right." He bought it at 32,000 miles. Ran it for 49,000 miles without a single unscheduled repair. That is not normal. That is what happens when GM actually builds something to compete with Lexus and then the segment collapses out from under it. The 2.0-liter Turbo 4 in the Lacrosse gets a bad reputation online because people confuse it with GM's earlier 2.0-liter in the Equinox, completely different animal. This generation uses the LGX and LTG family, which GM also dropped into the Cadillac ATS. Think of it like this. If Mercedes built a 2.0 for a C-Class and then stuck it in a cheaper car, that's essentially what happened here. The architecture was designed for premium stress tolerance, not budget line duty cycles. The 2 things to watch. The 9-speed automatic in the front-wheel drive models can be finicky if it's never had a fluid service. That's a $180 fluid change at an independent shop, not $1,100 at a dealer. Do it at 60,000 miles and you've likely bought yourself another 100,000 trouble-free miles on that transmission. Ignore it and you're looking at a $3,200 rebuild. Your choice. Before you buy one, put it on a lift, look at the transmission pan for any sign of seeping fluid. If the seller has a Carfax, look for any dealer visits. GM dealerships would have logged a transmission fluid service if it was done. No record of it after 60,000 miles? Budget $180 on day 1 and don't worry about it again. Who should buy this car? You want near luxury ride quality without the near luxury repair bills. You're putting highway miles on it and want something that doesn't beat you up over long trips. You can handle doing your own basic due diligence before buying used. Who should walk away? You want to drive something that earns you compliments in a mall parking lot. This car looks like a rental to people who don't know cars, and if that matters to you, it'll bother you every time you park it. My verdict: wildly underpriced for what it is. The market is punishing it for having a Buick badge when it should be selling for Lexus ES money. That's your gain. That's the sleeper. But here's where it gets more interesting, because number 2 costs even less, and the case for it is even stronger. Car number 2, Toyota Avalon, 2013 to 2018. You know what a 2015 Toyota Avalon costs right now? $6,000 to $9,000. You know what it costs to maintain one for 50,000 miles? About 4 oil changes and a set of tires. I'm not exaggerating. I've worked on a lot of these. The 3rd generation Avalon, 2013 through 2018, is one of the most underdiscussed reliability stories in the entire used car market. I had one come in at 167,000 miles. The owner wanted to sell it and asked me what he needed to fix before he listed it. I spent 45 minutes on the lift looking for something meaningful to tell him. I changed the cabin air filter. That's it. Car had 167,000 miles on it and I sent it home with a cabin air filter. The original 3.5-liter V6, the 2 GRFE, still ran as tight as it did when it left the factory. You, watching this right now, if you want one car that you will not think about from a mechanical standpoint for the next 5 years, this is the closest thing to a guarantee I can give you. The 2 GRFE V6 is one of Toyota's most field-proven engines. It's been in the Camry, the RAV4, the Sienna, the Venza, the Highlander, and both generations of the Lexus ES350. Toyota has built millions of these. The failure modes are known, the repair procedures are established, and the parts are cheap because they're shared across the entire lineup. Think of it like the Honda B series from the 90s. When a part wears out, you don't need to track down an obscure supplier. You walk into any parts store. The 6-speed automatic paired with it is equally solid. This is not a CVT. No belt to slip, no heat sensitivity issue, no software update needed to keep it from hunting gears. It's a conventional stepped automatic that has been refined over decades. The single most common repair I see on these, the water pump at around 100,000 miles. Parts and labor at an independent shop, $320 to $450. That's it. That's the major repair. Compare that to a timing chain replacement on a German V6, you're looking at $1,800 to $3,500 for equivalent mileage service. The other thing, if you see one with over 120,000 miles, ask about the spark plugs. Toyota recommends 60,000-mile intervals. If it's never been done, budget $200. If it has been done, you're golden. Before you buy, check the VVTi system. Start the engine cold. If you hear a ticking or rattling from the top of the engine that disappears after 30 seconds of warm-up, that's normal VVTi behavior at cold startup, nothing to worry about. If the rattle doesn't go away after 2 minutes, walk away. That is the one sign this engine has been chronically under-maintained. Also pull the oil cap and look underneath it. Clean engine oil should be amber to light brown. If you see sludge, gray-black buildup on the underside of that cap, someone ran this engine on dirty oil. No amount of price reduction makes that car worth it. Who should buy this car? You want the lowest total cost of ownership in the segment. You drive long distances and want something that doesn't fatigue you. You're buying for reliability over 200,000 miles and you understand that boring is a feature, not a bug. Who should walk away? You want the car to feel sporty. You want adaptive cruise, a heads-up display, or any feature from 2022 forward. The interior is dated by current standards and there's no arguing with that. Bottom line, I've seen Avalons with 240,000 miles that needed nothing but routine maintenance. The market is underselling this car because it's big, it's boring, and it's 10 years old. That's your window. It won't stay this cheap forever. If this kind of straight talk is useful, hit subscribe. I've got more of this coming, and dealerships definitely don't want you seeing it. Alright, the Avalon is the safe choice. The obvious choice. The one I tell my mother to buy. Number 1 is different. Number 1 is the one I argue with people about. And I'm right. Let me show you why. Car number 1. Mazda 6, 2015 to 2017. This is the car that makes the most sense on paper, mechanically, financially, every way, and gets dismissed the fastest because people think Mazda means cheap. It does not mean cheap. It means the opposite of cheap. The argument I had with a dealership manager happened in his lot. He had a customer looking at a certified pre-owned Camry, 2016, 54,000 miles, priced at $18,500. I was there picking up a customer's car. He knew me. We got into it. I told him the 2016 Mazda 6 with the Skyactiv G 2.5 at 60,000 miles on a private sale was a better car at $11,000. He said I didn't understand the resale value proposition. I said he didn't understand what reliable actually costs in a repair bay. His customer bought the Camry. Fine car. No argument. But here's what I know. I've had maybe 15 Mazda 6s of this generation in my shop across the last 5 years. The average repair bill across all of them, including the ones that came in for actual problems, not just maintenance, was under $400 per visit. The one that came in for the most expensive single repair? Rear wheel bearing. $380 parts and labor. That's it. That's the headline repair on this car. Mazda's Skyactiv G 2.5 liter is one of the highest compression naturally aspirated 4-cylinders in any mass-market sedan. 13:1 compression ratio. For reference, most economy-grade 4s run at 10 or 11:1. Higher compression means more complete combustion, which means better fuel efficiency and more power from the same displacement, but it also means the engine tolerates less abuse. That's the one caveat. This engine does not like cheap oil or extended drain intervals. Mazda specifies 0W20 full synthetic. Run it. Change it every 5,000 miles or once a year, whichever comes first. Do that and this engine will outlast you. neglect it and the high compression becomes a liability because the tolerances are tighter. It's also naturally aspirated, no turbo, no intercooler, no blow-off valve to eventually weep. The complexity is by design kept as low as possible. Fewer parts that can fail. Here's the number that matters. Average annual maintenance cost on a well-kept 2015 to 2017 Mazda 6 over 100,000 miles, around $350 a year including tires amortized. I'm not making that up. That's pulled from actual service records I've seen in my shop and cross-referenced with owner reports. The clutch on the manual, if you find one with a manual, buy it immediately, is rated for 150,000 miles with normal driving. The 6-speed automatic is equally solid and shares architecture with Mazda's commercial vehicle line. The one thing to check, the torque converter on automatics made before mid-2016 had a software calibration issue that caused light shudder at highway cruise. Mazda issued a TSB, Technical Service Bulletin, and updated the TCM software. If you're buying one, confirm that update was applied. It costs nothing at a Mazda dealer. Any service department can pull it up in 10 minutes. When you're test driving one, get it up to 60 to 65 miles per hour on a highway and hold a steady throttle for 30 seconds. If you feel a light vibration or shudder through the seat, the kind that feels like you're driving over rumble strips that aren't there, the TCM update was not applied. Not a deal breaker. Get a quote for the software update and use it to negotiate the price down. Also look at the paint on the A-pillars and the roof rails. The 2015 model specifically had a small number of premature clear coat failures in high humidity climates. It's cosmetic only, but it's a negotiation point. Who should buy this car? You want a sedan that's actually enjoyable to drive, not just to sit in. You care about how the car handles, not just how it holds up. You're putting 60,000 plus miles on it in the next 4 years and want to spend that time driving something that doesn't feel like a penalty. And you want to pay $9,000 to $13,000 for a car that a Mazda dealership would have sold for $26,000 brand new. Who should walk away? You need a 7-year-old car to look like a new car. You're not going to stay on top of oil changes. You want a back seat that comfortably fits 3 adults. The Mazda 6 back seat is tight for a mid-size sedan. The Avalon crushes it in rear passenger room. My verdict: this is the best driver's car on this list by a significant margin, and it'll still be running at 220,000 miles if you give it clean oil. The market is sleeping on it. That won't last. And that mechanic who told me I was wrong about it? I ran into him at a parts supplier 3 months ago. He didn't bring up the Mazda 6. Neither did I. Some arguments you just win by being right. 3 sedans. Combined, they represent maybe $28,000 in used car money, and more collective engineering integrity than most of the new car showroom floor at twice that price. The Buick that got ignored when the market went SUV crazy. The Avalon that everyone's parents drove and everyone forgot. And the Mazda that outhandles cars that cost $15,000 more and barely costs more to maintain than the electricity bill. You now know more about what actually holds up in the real world than 90% of the people who are going to walk into a dealership this weekend and get talked into a certified pre-owned crossover with a 90-day warranty and a $400 a month payment. That's the gap. You know something they don't. Oh, and that fluid I mentioned at the beginning. The one that's almost universally neglected on large sedans. Transmission fluid. Not the oil. Not the coolant. The transmission fluid. Most service schedules say 100,000 miles. I say 40,000 to 60,000 on any used car you can't verify the history on. On all 3 of the cars in today's video, this single service is the difference between a transmission that lasts 200,000 miles and one that starts hunting gears at 110,000. $150 to $200 at an independent shop. Do it. 20 years of turning wrenches. Like, subscribe and share with your loved ones. Take it or leave it. I'll see you in the next one.